Okay, I turn the meeting to order. The Historic District Commission. The date is June 11th, 2020. The time is 4:30. The start of the meeting was delayed due to technical difficulties. Notice of this hearing was published on Friday, May 29th in the Fairfield Citizen. And if we could go around and do the roll call based on how we usually do it around the table, if you can remember, starting with Arnie, please. Art, can you hear me?
Art's got no sound.
All right, well, the next one, who's next? Chris, I believe you're next.
Chris Shea, Commissioner.
Sorry, Art Rabanus is here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Tanner. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at an agenda.
We're just starting the meeting. So I'll let you know when it's your turn, okay?
I know I'm just not on the agenda that you're showing, but I'm on a different agenda.
All right. You have to sign in. I mean, not sign in, call in. Otherwise, we're getting feedback, or if you have both on, it's causing feedback.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my question was just that I have an agenda for 75 Old South, but I didn't see it on the agenda that you just had on the screen.
Yeah, it's on the second page, Tanner.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
You're item 9.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I guess things must have moved around. Okay.
Yeah, you're number 9. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So we've got Art. Who else? Let's try and go through the roll call, please.
Art Rabanus, Commissioner.
Jim.
Chris Shea, Commissioner.
Rosina. Come on. Okay, it's going to take forever if we can't even get to the roll call. Let's go. Jim. Rosina. Okay, we need Jim to call in. Jim.
How many of the commissioners can hear me? Can you say your names?
I know Art can hear, George can hear. Right?
I heard you, Chris.
Jim, can you hear? Rosina, can
I
you
can hear. It doesn't seem
according to my list here, I'll show you. According to my list here, you can see that Rosina doesn't have a symbol next to her name showing that she can hear, and neither does Jim or Vikram. He's on hold anyway. He's not doing anything. And then when it has the earphones, it means you're using your computer as opposed to a phone. So Art, you should call in.
I just did.
George, you should call in.
I just called in and it said the meeting's locked.
Let me unlock it. If that's the case. Okay, go ahead. Try it now.
All right.
Why? Because it's locked. It automatically locks on itself. It's a great feature.
Okay.
George, can you hear us?
It's still not working?
I can hear you, Adam, but it seems like everyone's muted.
No, they're not. Jim's not dialed in. He doesn't have any sound at all. Neither does oh no, Rosina called in. She's muted for some reason. Rosina, can you hear?
I can hear. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, you're finally in. Okay.
Okay.
Rosina, how are you? Good. Jim, you can hear finally. Okay. What was that? Okay, can we try this again? Yep. Who's got the feedback? Somebody's got somebody has their what is it? Don't. Okay, can we start again? Yep. Okay. Oops. All right, this is the Historic District Commission. Once again, June 11th, 2020. We've already done that. Call to order, please. Starting with Art.
Art Gravanis, Commissioner, is present.
Jim.
James D. Bohan, alternate commissioner.
Very good.
Did you all hear me?
Yep. Who's next?
Okay, thank you.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
My job here is
Chris, and then we have Rosina.
Rosina Negron, Commissioner.
Thank you. Sheila, can you hear? Sheila, can you hear? Okay, Sheila is here. Anyway, let's move on to our first item on the agenda, which is Henderson, Peter T. and Amy Redgate, 62 Center Street, Southport, for the property located at 62 Center Street, Southport, for A, fences and gates, B, pool fence, C, bluestone steps and walkway, D, bluestone edge, native stone edge at house for roof runoff, E, stone along new fence and sidewalk, F, changes to previously approved pergola, G, changes to previously approved driveway, H, changes to previously approved terrace and walkway, and I, path lights. And I believe Jack is the presenter. Do we have anyone here who represents the
Hello,
Redgates?
everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to share some content. And I'm not sure if you can see my screen here.
Yep.
Okay, this is 62 Center Street, and this is a survey. The property is located on Center Street in the Southport Historic District. We're proposing some changes to previously approved work and some new items. We're proposing a new design for the pool gate, which is right here. We had
Jack, Jack,
yes.
Jack, you're not showing, your drawings aren't coming up.
Okay.
All I see is your desktop
We're just seeing the
email.
We're just seeing the cover page, Jack.
So Jack, click
I'm
on
going
those
to ask people
PDA.
I'm going to ask the commissioners not to speak until until we go around the room. You know, let Jack and me talk just so that there's no, it's too hard with everyone speaking, anyone chiming in. Thanks. So Jack, if you open up your document and share it from your, share content, and then you have to go find it.
Yeah, so, oh, that's the wrong one. So I think I'm sharing my screen here.
Yeah, all I see is your email browser. And I see the files, but
oh boy.
But they're not open.
Okay, I wonder if I can share my desktop.
Yeah, that's what you should do if you're trying to do.
Right. Okay. I've kind of lost my. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, now sharing content.
Yeah, and you should just share screen. So then we'll see whatever you have on your desktop.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. How's this?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the survey.
You might want to make it as big as possible.
Okay. I'm going to do full screen.
There you go.
Okay, so the proposed pool gate is right here. Can you see my cursor?
Yep.
Okay. The previously approved pool gate was wrought iron. The one that we want to build is flush boards with V-joint, and it's more similar. There's actually an existing wood door on the old house right about here, and the homeowners wanted the door on the gate on the pool to look more like that. We're also proposing to change the existing patio, which is currently it's a kind of a L-shaped patio. I guess it's more of a rectangle, but I'm having trouble getting to the next image. Okay, got a problem here.
Jack, you know what you might want to try and do? If you go to the town website and just open up the document from there, you know where that location is for the documents?
No.
It's under the Historic District Commission. Well, it's, or I can put it up.
Town meeting that I have to sit in. I have an appeal on something.
Hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. Can you hear me? Hey, Jack. I can't, for some reason, I can't hear you. Oh, you're muted somehow. Can you hear me, Jack?
I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Okay. I'll put the images up for you. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Speak to them. Yeah, I can hear you. I'll put the images up for you, and then because this isn't really working. Okay.
Okay. Great.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that's
just
good.
tell me where you want me to go.
Correct. Yeah. So the gate that I was talking about is right here, And we're trying to make it look
Okay,
like
so,
it's,
hey, Jen,
yeah,
if you go to the top of your screen, it should be a thing that says annotate. And you'd be able to, like, draw things on the plan if you want. And
okay. I think I'll just
point
try
whatever.
to do it with the cursor.
Okay. I don't think I can see your cursor though.
Okay, so in the pool area, you can see the gate over by the, I guess, the upper right-hand corner of the pool area. The new gate is proposed to be V-joint wood to look like a existing access door on the side of the old house. The other thing is that we wanted to change the patio from its old configuration, which is existing, to a more square pattern, which you see on the
Right here.
survey. Yeah, it's right there. And then we wanted to also change the pergola, which was originally designed to run the whole length of the shed and then turn 90 degrees to go over to the kitchen stoop. That was approved, and what we want to do now is make the pergola more of a rectangle that is centered on the shed, and also centered, the one bay of it is centered on the kitchen door, or the mudroom door, I should say. We are proposing to, for the driveway, to use fieldstone for the driveway instead of gravel. And that would be like a native flat fieldstone with joints. We are showing change to the driveway proposed to be some bluestone treads or tracks coming off of the Southport School Drive. The homeowners have decided they do not want to do that. So the only driveway change that we're talking about is the actual previously approved driveway that was right in front of the two garage doors. For the new work proposed, we're proposing to connect the driveway to the patio by means of stepping stones, which you can see running right to left. We also have stepping stones around to the barbecue area on the left side of the shed, and we have stepping stones going down towards the pool, along with some long monolithic bluestone treads. I think some of this stuff in the middle is probably not visible, but it's part of the design, so I sort of need to explain the logic. There's almost a full story of grade difference between the shed and the pool. It's probably about a 6.5, 7 foot drop there, so that's the reason for the treads. We're proposing walks over by the front of the pub room, the little room off the left side of the house. Currently, that's a gravel walk, but the problem with the gravel walk is it slopes right into the room. So all the water, when there's a heavy rain, runs down the stairs and actually runs right into the foundation of the pub room. So we're proposing to add two bluestone, one tread and two risers where the current walk ends, and then run a bluestone walk to the pub room, which will then actually pitch away from the pub room, directing water where it should go. We're proposing to do a bluestone curb in front of the kitchen wing. The wood siding on that wing comes right down to the ground, and it's rotting. So what we want to do, and we've done this on other older homes, is to put a bluestone edge and then have the grade be a little bit below that on the backside and fill it with native stone. We're proposing 3 copper path lights, which are off the garage along the stepping stones. And I believe there's a photograph there. And finally, we're proposing to replace the existing fence with a new wood fence. And if you were to look at page 90 in the Southport book, it's exactly the fence that was on this property when that photograph was taken. I don't know the age of the photograph, but you can see the corner where the driveway enters towards the Southport School, and you can see the house, the existing house across the way. So, without the ability of knowing exactly what the dimensions were, the fence we designed is replicating that. Also, under that fence, we're going to use washed stones underneath that fence instead of letting grass grow under it. There'll be a thin border of washed stones, which your commission approved the same thing over on the corner of Church Street and Main Street, and it's actually working really well. That fence is in really good shape, and it's been up for about 10 years. And the one across the street is rotting already, and it's about the same age. I believe that is everything, so I'd be happy to answer questions.
Okay, thank you. You want me to show any other pictures? No?
Yeah, so to recap, you can see, I guess the best image for the pergola is the one on the upper right-hand of the screen there. You can see the pergola now. Part of it's centered on the mudroom door, and then it steps down and connects over to the shed, which is hidden behind the corner of the garage. And you can get a glimpse of the fence turning the corner. It's going to be a small return there. And then if you go back and look at the street view, I think it might show the fence, more detail on the fence.
So which one?
Yeah, that one. That's the drawing. So we're not putting gates on there. There are not gates on there now. You can see the existing fence is just a picket fence, and then below that is the proposed fence at the bottom of the screen. There you go. So the idea here is to replicate the type of fence you would have seen in Southport without all the busy-looking support posts. The posts are held behind the fence, and just the anchor points of the fence are detailed out with heavier posts, just like the old photograph. And I think you saw a picture of the top lights and a picture of the fieldstone that we're proposing for the driveway.
Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
No questions, Adam.
Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Chris?
Yeah, hi, Jack. Thanks for your presentation. On those path lights, they look, there's no dimension on the photograph that was submitted. And I know that you're proposing 3 of them, but they seem like they're going to be very visible from Center Street. And they also seem like they're taller than, they seem like they're taller than what would be normally approved and maybe a little bit big. I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, I think it's the photograph, because I have the same lights in my house, and they're only 15 inches high, and actually they're the same. There are already some lights. I don't know if they're on the front of the house, but the Hendersons have the same manufacturer made the lights that are on the kitchen, the back of the kitchen. It's a Genie House fixture, and they're actually quite small. And that spike that you see, that we don't use that application. We use the one that goes into a box right on grade. We pour a little footing for it, so you wouldn't see the plastic spike. The whole thing is only 15 inches high. It's really short and diminutive. So it looks kind of big in the picture, but that's not the case at all.
And the lamp that is used in this fixture, is it up in the kind of the upper hood?
Yeah,
the shroud.
Yeah, that's the other reason I like it, is that you can't see the lamp. And for my house, I used a refrigerator bulb for years, but now I just use a 7-watt 2700K LED, and it's a nice soft light that is just enough to see by.
So are you proposing a 2700K lamp for this fixture?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Great. And so that on the plan, you're showing that drive, those bluestone pavers in the grass, but they're not proposed any longer, right?
The Hendersons do not want to do those. So when and if you make a motion on this, if you could just deny that without prejudice, they're not interested in doing that anymore.
Okay. And then my last question was, I didn't see anywhere where it talks about the material. I mean, a lot of this, it talks about pickets and cross braces and everything, but it doesn't say that it's made of wood. I'm assuming that it is.
It's all wood. We met with Mr. Anastasio about the fence a couple of weeks ago. Yes, it's all going to be wood, painted wood.
Okay, great. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
George. George, you there? George? Rosina?
No questions, Chris. Covered all kind of my concerns.
Okay. And George, you don't have any comment? Okay, and I have no comments, Jack. I think we're good, and I didn't receive any emails in favor or against this application. So this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
She was calling George. George is muted. George, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you very clearly.
Sorry, somehow you got muted. Did you mute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Good. Okay, next
sorry.
item on the agenda, Haley and Christopher Milligan, 75, oh, no, sorry, that's not it. That's the next one on the agenda is Dale MacGyver and Catherine Watts, 187 Westway Road, for property located at 187 Westway Road for in-ground pool and B, fences and gates.
Hello again, it's Jack Franzen representing for this application. Adam, can I ask you to do the same thing that you did for Henderson and put the drawings up? This property is located in Southport on the south side of Westway Road, just east of Pequot Avenue. It's the old Diamond House with the famous giant tree in the front yard. And we're proposing to build a new pool in the rear yard of the house, west of the garage. And because of the topography, as you can see where the pool is located, I don't believe you can see the pool from a public way. I think you would agree with me. However, you can see the pool enclosure because by code we have to do a fence around the pool. And what we're proposing here is mostly either using existing fencing that's already on the property or to close off the remaining portions to build a living fence with vegetation. And we're also proposing a gate. The gate that we're proposing that's visible is the one at the top left side of the drawing. And it's a cedar gate. It's got a design in it, but it's all joinery. Doesn't have any openings in it. it's just joinery with a V-joint. So you can't climb on it, you can't grab onto it, you can't jump over it. And the fencing that would go from the gate to the garage and from the other side of the gate to the main house would be a living fence with shrubbery planted either side of a mesh. And you can see that just more or less follows the driveway. We've got about a 2-foot snow shelf next to the driveway, and then the fence goes all the way around to connect to the back side of the house where I think there's an existing garbage enclosure there. On the rear of the property, there's some gates that I don't believe you can see that are utility gates, that are flush board gates. And then behind that, on the Clark's boundary, there's an existing fence. There's an existing fence that runs along that property line. And then when that fence comes to an end, I believe at the corner there, we're proposing to continue on with a mesh fence with plantings, and then to come around to the, I guess it would be the northwest corner of the house with the living fence into the front of the most westerly wing of the existing house. So all you'll see from the road when you look up at the house, on the left side, you're going to see about, I don't know, about 25 feet of living fence. And then if you look up the driveway, you'll see the hedge running up the driveway and that little gate that I was describing, that's the Cedar Gate. That's pretty much it. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I should say the pool equipment is located behind the garage in the nook. So again, you won't see that from anywhere.
Okay. Art, you have any questions?
No, thank you, Adam.
Jim, questions? Jim Bohan, questions? Okay, Chris.
Yeah, hi, Jack. Thanks for your presentation.
Thanks.
I noticed the pool has just a coping around it. There's no terrace or anything proposed, apparently.
No, it's just going to be a grass around, no patio, no, just the pool and the grass.
Okay. And then what about lighting? There's nothing proposed, so I'm assuming that there's no lighting in this application.
There will be lighting in the pool, but there's no lighting proposed on the architecture. And the lights that are in the pool are going to post. The lights in the pool, I believe, are all on the side facing backwards. So you wouldn't see any bulbs or any exposed fixtures from anywhere, any aspect.
Would the neighbor to the south see those lights?
I don't believe so, because again, there's a 6-foot high fence there.
Do you know how many lights are being proposed in the pool?
I believe they have 3 lights on that, what would be the north side of the pool, and they're underwater.
Okay, thank you.
George, you have any questions?
No, I personally probably should recuse myself since I'm the George.
Oh, because you're a neighbor?
That's my wife and I. And
Well, you are, okay, it's up to you. I don't think you need to, but if you feel like you have a conflict.
the only question I would have, Jack, is on the pool equipment, is there something to deaden the sound next to the garage?
You know, we could put a fence around it for your benefit. You know, you won't see it because there's a fence there, but if we put another little fence around it, you know, it probably would help, or some shrubs.
Probably planting would be fine, Jack.
Yeah. I will ask the Johnsons to, since this application was filed, the home has been sold and is now property of me and Rob Johnson. And when we sent the application, and the owners were Dale and Catherine, so they were the ones that had to sign off on it. But I will talk to the Johnsons. I think they'd be happy to do that for you, George.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you. Rosina?
No questions.
Okay. And I did not receive any, I have no questions either, Jack. I did not receive any letters in favor or against this application, so the meeting's closed. Hearing's closed.
Thank you.
And the next item on the agenda, David J. Ives and Elizabeth Ives, 411 Harbor Road, for property located at 411 Harbor Road, for A, fence on north side of property, B, AC unit, C, auxiliary parking, turning area, D, generator wall and associated landscaping, E, replace existing path light fixtures and add new path light fixtures, F, new steps terrace, G, gas boiler fluid termination, H, metal chimney termination cap.
Thank you. Hi again, it's Jack Franzen. I'm here to represent the Ives on this application. And this property is located on the east side of Harbor Road in Southport Historic District. The house was designed by Charles Cutler, who was a renowned colonial revival architect in Westport. Didn't do a lot of work in Southport, I think, because he was on Cameron Clark's turf, but he did a couple houses on Harbor Road, and this is one of them. We're proposing to replace a failing, rotting stockade fence on the north side of the property with a new wood fence. The fence we're proposing is an exact same location and will be the same height as the existing stockade fence. But it's going to be, instead of stockade, it'll be a board-on-board type fence, similar to others that have been used on side yard boundaries in the Southport district. Specifically, there's one at 608 Harbor Road and also another one at 1060 Harbor Road. At the top of the hill, the fence is 6 feet high, but as it goes down the hill, it drops in height, as does the existing stockade fence. And the fence will end where it currently does, roughly even with the big retaining wall on the abutting property to the north. I don't think it blocks anyone's view, but if the retaining wall weren't there, you know, and you were sitting on the ground, you'd appreciate the fact that the fence gets lower there. We're proposing also to add an AC unit, which is at the lower left-hand corner of the garage. And I should explain that that's like you can see it's almost a full flight of steps below grade. So I don't believe you can see it from anywhere. Maybe from across the harbor, you know, maybe. I don't think you could see it though because of the house and the topography. But in any case, it's screened by some plantings facing the road. There's some bushes shown there. But again, I don't think you can see it. It's just below your eye level. We're also proposing an auxiliary parking / turnaround area over to the right side of the existing driveway. And if you've ever come and parked in this house, it's very, very difficult to pull out of this property onto Harbor Road because of the view lines, and also the people go very fast on the road. And I should explain that it's the intention of the Ives to replant the hedge on the property line. And I know this isn't in your jurisdiction, but they want to lower the hedge except for the area where the parking area is in front of the garage. The 5 trees or bushes that are going to be there will be taller ones. And then the hedge will get a little bit lower so that you can see over it. down towards the south end of the property. But if you have this, what we're requesting, this turnaround area, if the 2 parking spaces are filled in the parking area that exists, you'll be able to come around and then face out onto Harbor Road instead of having to back out, which is how it is now. If there's more than 2 cars in the driveway, you have no choice but to back out, and it's just not safe. We're also proposing generator to be located over on the south side of the property. And again, this is below your eye level. I don't believe it's visible from Harbor Road. You might be able to see it from Sasco Hill, 1,700 feet away, or if you're in a boat, on a very tall boat at the edge of the water, you might see it. But we planted it out with evergreens on one side and a low retaining wall on the other. And it's a relatively small generator. It's a 2200 kW generator. It's like 28 inches high and 48 inches long. And it's located there because it's really the best place to not see it. And also the electric meter is over on the right side of the house. We are proposing.
Jack, can you point out, can you point out that location? I can't.
Yeah, so if you look at the right side of the screen, there's like a little L-shaped retaining wall there. And that is where the generator is going, right there. And again, if you're familiar with the property, there's a big retaining wall there, so that if you're standing on the curb at Harbor Road, I don't think you can see that. But if there were no trees and you're on Sasco Hill, you could see it from like a real far distance away.
Okay.
We are proposing to replace some existing path lights. We have not picked the lights out, but I do want to tell you the locations that are proposed. We're proposing
Hey, Jack,
two new locations. Yes.
Can I stop you for 1 second? So if you go up
Yes.
to the top of your screen, see where I am? If you see this thing that says annotate,
Yeah.
you should be able to go and like use this thing over here and use your cursor.
Now I'm moving this little crayon thing. I don't know if does it work?
Yeah, you could use this one too, and
Can you see what I just marked here? That was the generator.
oh yeah, and gray, yeah, yep.
Yeah. And
Good,
then,
yeah. So that's it. So you can point stuff out for us.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm learning as I do this. So there are 3 existing path lights. There's one here. There's one here. I'm sorry, and then there's one here. Those are existing ones. And then there's one here and one here that are proposed new ones. And there's 2 proposed new ones down here by the pavilion and there.
Okay.
I believe that only 3 of these lights on the Harbor Road side are visible. The 2 proposed ones on this front sidewalk will be visible. The one at the top of the existing stairs will be visible, but the other 2 are below that retaining wall. The ones going down the back stairs, which are existing, which are here, here, and here, are existing locations. And then these are the ones off the pavilion. Those are new locations. So we're proposing 4 new lights and replacing, I believe, 6 old lights. We will come back to you with the fixtures, but I do want you to consider the proposed locations. And I think it's just enough to get the job done, to get people up to the front door. There's a light over the porch, and to get them down those steps, which are quite steep, going down to the side yard. We're proposing also, if you could go to that drawing that shows the chimney and the termination equipment, they're putting in a new energy-efficient gas boiler, which you can't use the clay flue for anymore. it's not suitable for the type of combustion that's being installed. So what we did is I think it's on the next drawing down, Adam.
Is there another drawing from here?
Yeah, there
No,
it is.
there's only
Yes.
2 drawings.
So there's some hardware that's got to go in there, and we've got it so we'll fit in we'll also within the envelope of the chimney cap. There's an existing chimney cap with a bluestone cap and some piers, and there's a unit here that's, I believe it's a chimney flue terminator, and then they have a fireplace terminator over here, which will also go in that little area. There's also a boiler flue intake for fresh air that's down here, but I don't think you can see that. That's below the retaining wall. But if you look carefully, you could probably see what we're proposing to go inside that flue cap. But there's really no alternative. And I think this is the best place for those to go. I believe that is it.
All right, thank you. Art, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions?
Chris, questions?
There weren't any submittals for the generator or the AC unit. I wondered if you had like manufacturer's product data that you were going to send along with this. And then I also wonder the location of that intake with the bird screen on it, that wall cap intake right on the outside corner there. Did you look for possible any other locations for that? I know you said it may not be visible, but it just seems like it's kind of crammed in there and really close to the gas meter, and maybe
it's just literally the only place it can go. And you can't see it. The great thing is there's a retaining wall there, and there's no way you can see that. It's between that little shutter and the existing retaining wall.
Right.
And it all meets code. And I do have I'm going to hold this up. This is the generator cut sheet. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Generac. It's a 22 kW. It's a small generator compared to a lot of them we've done. And I don't believe you'll see this. Maybe from Sasco Hill if there was no vegetation.
It's air cooled.
Yes.
So it runs at a pretty high RPM. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, and then on the path lights. So just so I'm clear, you're not asking for us to approve them because you don't have cuts on them.
Yeah, I guess if you could at least bless the locations, but we will come back to you with. I've got 2 or 3 alternatives to show the ives. The ones that are there are kind of cone-shaped ones. I've got another one that's similar to the one you saw on 62 Center Street, and then there's another one. So I'm not asking you to approve the lights. Just if you have a problem with the locations, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Rosina?
No question.
And I have no questions. I did not receive any letters in favor or against this application, so the hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. And next item on the application is 1100 Harbor Road for property located at 1100 Harbor Road for proposed lattice gate and existing driveway, and B, proposed parking sign to replace existing sign.
Hello again, it's Jack Franzen. I'm here representing Brian McMahon for this application. This property is located at the very end of Harbor Road in the Southport Historic District. And our proposal is to install a gate. The gate will be located, and there's an existing opening between shrubs that were planted after the seawall project was built. The gate has got 2 posts that are similar to the posts on the fence on the property. And the gate is made of interwoven lattice, which is similar to the lattice that's on the front porch. The gate and the posts are 36 inches high. I believe there's a restriction that nothing can be on this property that's in excess of 36 inches. Also, I believe there was a metal post for a no parking, what's not really a no parking sign, but there was a sign that zoning had approved for designating the parking for the owner of the property. And it was a steel post with a very simple rectangular sign on it. We're proposing to put the sign back, but to replace the metal post with a post that's the same as the posts on the existing fence and the proposed gate. That's about it. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Art?
Nothing, thank you, Bob.
Jim?
No questions.
Okay, Chris?
Hi, Jack. Chris. So the parking sign that previously existed, it's no longer there, right?
Well, if they have it, it's just never been put back.
Right. And has the zoning department approved the new sign, or do you think they need to?
Well, I believe when we got the drawing stamped, I mean, I believe this was all discussed in and I wasn't there, in the planning and zoning and other things that led up to that seawall project, but I believe that it was agreed that they could keep that sign or reinstall it at the end of the project. And so I think, I could be wrong, but I think that they could just put up the old sign with the metal posts, but they'd have to keep it under 3 feet. And the proposed sign, all we're doing is putting on a different post.
Yeah.
But zoning is in agreement with this, I believe.
And then the other question was, I know there are there were some other agencies and associations involved with some prior approvals down there. And I'm just wondering if anything that you're doing breaks any regulations or any understandings that have been agreed to.
We don't believe so. I know that there was a fence there that was approved by the commission, and I designed it, and it was incorrect because it was more than 36 inches high, and that was taken down, and everything there, including the shrubs. I believe there's an agreement the shrubs cannot be allowed to grow taller than 36 inches. I'm not sure about that, but I know that anything that's architectural cannot be more than 36 inches, and that's what we're proposing. I mean, we suppose we could make it 35 3/4 to be safe, but that's where we are.
Okay, thank you. Those are my only questions.
Rosita?
No questions.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions. I did not receive any letters. Oh, I'm sorry, George. I did forget.
George?
That's all right. No question. Jack, the fence that
Yes.
you're putting up, is that on the harbor side or the house side of the property?
The fence is on the house side.
On the water side.
Yeah, so the only thing that you're going to see is just this gate because the rest of it's all vegetation.
Yeah, I've already seen it. And the sign, by the way, the sign is still there. It's on a metal post, and it'll be much enhanced with wood. So I'm good.
I haven't recently, but I saw pictures of it, so I agree.
I have no further questions, Adam.
Okay, thank you, George. I won't forget you again.
All right.
And I don't have any questions. And I did not receive any letters of opposing or in support of. So this hearing's closed. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much.
And the next item on our agenda is Andrew and Michelle Adams, 564 Harbor Road, for property located at 564 Harbor Road, for construct a 6-inch cedar privacy fence as shown on L704 alongside the rear property lines. B, construct 2-foot cedar privacy fence along top of 42 to 48 inches, wall and barn along east property line. And C, remove existing cedar fence along property line along driveway.
Adam, can you hear me?
Christina, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Yes.
Oh,
Hey. You there?
yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I think you muted yourself. How can you keep doing that?
I'm supposed to be dialed in.
What's that?
I'm on the phone. So I think you have to mute my TV.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Perfect. Oh,
When you
Nope.
when you muted, we can't hear you anymore.
okay.
But it's
well,
showing that you're using your computer still for some reason.
And now you're dropped off.
all right.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Does it work now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So are you going to share your
The problem
screen?
is I'm hearing you through my phone.
It's okay.
But there's an echo.
Can you turn your volume down? Or turn off your volume?
Then how do I hear you? I'm not sure what to do. I'm supposed to be called in. So am I on one of
Can you
these
hear it through the
users?
Yes, you're here.
Okay. Well, I'll just start. I'm going to do a screen share. Share content.
Right.
Just
identify yourself, like you're.
Oh, I'm Christina Gates. I'm the landscape architect working on behalf of Michelle and Andrew Adams. Are you still hearing the echo?
No.
No.
Okay, good. So I just have to tolerate it. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. Our application this month is for a privacy fence along the property line. And I'm going to do a screen share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see the PDF?
No.
No, I see a Chrome browser.
Oh, that's not what we
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Okay. How do I get back? Sorry, I thought that I had this all.
If you go under sharing, just share content.
Share content. Okay, screen. There we go.
And then share your screen. Here you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That work? Okay. Now, can you see my cursor at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this is where the privacy fence will begin. Over on the right-hand side of the drawing is Harbor Road. So the bottom part is the shared property lawn with the lot and box. And then the privacy fence would extend along the northern property line, which backs up to a Main Street property. And then the privacy fence will turn and extend into the back of the barn, where it would stop. Then it would pick up again in the beginning of the barn, where there is a wall, and that's the second portion of our application. The wall here is between 42 and 48 inches high. So per the town code, we could only put a 2-foot privacy fence on top of that. So it wouldn't exceed a total height of 6 feet. So that's this portion here. And then there's an existing kind of broken down picket right along this front line here. And we would extend that new fence to the road and remove the old one. So I'll show you, these are some details. This is just a typical detail of the vertical board privacy fence. Cedar, it would gray out and become very natural. Here is a detail of how we would do the 2-foot fence on top of the existing wall. Okay. And just to take you into some images, let me zoom this in a little bit. Ooh, that got big. Okay. Okay, so we just talked about that 2-foot fence going on top of the existing wall. This is the existing condition. Ignore this bottom part. This is driveways going here. And this actually black fence is taller than 2 feet. So the proposed fence would be a little bit lower. It would extend across here. Okay. This is the broken down fence that we'd like to take out, and we would put in the new privacy fence. Sorry if this is making you dizzy. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is the northern property line that abuts the blue house from Main Street. This is the eastern property line behind the barn. Okay. This is a picture of a fence that is almost identical to what we're proposing, except this is a clear cedar, and we wouldn't be building this in kind of the A quality cedar. It'd be a little bit lower quality, but still very durable and nice looking. And it's a similar top detail that we have here. And this is kind of what it looks like as it ages over time. Kind of that weathered look. And then I just included some images of other similar privacy fences seen in the village as a precedent. Okay. Let me get out of this. Would you like me to scroll back to any other parts of the drawing? It's a pretty simple application.
I don't think so. We'll go around the room and we'll let the commissioners ask questions.
How do I end my screen? Do you want me to keep my screen share?
Yes, yeah, so that if somebody has a question, that'd be great. Okay, Art?
None for me, thank you.
Okay, Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Chris, do you have any questions?
No questions.
George, do you have any questions?
You mentioned something about a driveway. Was that, or a parking? Was that something that was approved earlier?
Yes, that was approved, I think in September. I could be wrong on that date.
Then no questions. Nice.
Okay.
Dispense.
Rosina?
No questions.
And I don't have any questions, and I did not receive any letters opposed or to support this application. So the hearing is closed. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you. Did I keep sharing my screen?
No, you can.
Going up
Well,
next.
yeah, you're gonna, because you're next. You're next. Yes. So the next item on the application is Graham and Catherine Nix, 160 Harbor Road, for property located at 160 Harbor Road, for A, removal of existing bluestone terrace and curb wall, and B, new masonry outdoor kitchen at Northeast Terrace, and C, new pergola over outdoor kitchen.
Okay, it's me again, Christina Gates. Christina, sorry, the echo is really hard to talk with. I'm just hearing double. Okay. I'm Christina Gates. I'm the landscape architect working for Catherine and Graham Nix. They have asked that I put together an application so that they could install an outdoor kitchen area at their home located at 160 Harbor Road. Most of you should be familiar with this application, as we have done some work there this past fall and this spring. Just to familiarize you with the property, everybody can see my cursor, right? Okay. This is the base of Harbor Road by the bridge. And the majority of the work that we did over the last fall and this spring was over on this side of the house and the front of the driveway and the front of the house. This application has work on the other side of the house. Okay. Let me zoom in.
Thank you.
Oh, I just zoomed too much. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right. This is the front door of the house. On the right-hand side of the house, there's an existing bluestone terrace where they keep their grill material. I think they have a Komodo and a grill and a couple chairs. What they would like to do is install an outdoor kitchen area, which is built in with masonry, and that would sit in the existing footprint of the terrace. So we wouldn't be making it much larger. Our proposed masonry walls are a touch wider, and that's only because these walls weren't built square. So we're really trying to stay within the footprint of the existing terrace. The other part of the application is a pergola that goes over this. But I just want to go over the layout of the terrace. And it gives you some kind of dimensions here, that it's about 16 feet out in total, which is the existing size. Okay. Out. Okay. This is a little bit more helpful in terms of the HDC and the visibility from the road. Catherine and Graham bought a property that doesn't really have much of a backyard. Most of their living space is all front yard. So the rear goes up in a very steep way. So wherever they're going to be spending time, they're going to be on the side of their house. So everything they do is exposed. So in designing this, we really tried to keep in, this echo is killing me. We tried to work with the masonry, which was already at the house. So we would match the existing walls, which we have on the other side of the house. And then I talked to the architect, Linda Batchelder, who had done some work, and we decided that this was the best location for the pergola to attach the house. And I have some existing photos which will help. And the wall here for the wall that the pergola attaches to is 3.5 feet high. And you'll see on the inside in some of the elevations that it's actually a 6-inch counter is 6 inches lower. And that's another way that we're trying to hide the grill and the Komodo. But another thing to keep in mind is that if you're standing down on the sidewalk on Harbor Road, you're 5 feet below the terrace. So you're not really looking at it at eye level, you're looking at it from below, which I think also makes it seem a little bit more concealed. Let's see. This is a northeast elevation, which would be what would look like from their neighbor's property and how the pergola would attach. And this is kind of a plan version of how the pergola lays out. I tried to keep it nice and simple from the road. So you just have one beam going across and then the small pieces. And then the area where it comes across more, you got the double joists here. You have, it's towards the neighbor. Then this is a section through the pergola, the middle of it, so you can see how the grill is situated on the interior. And this is an elevation from their inside of their house, looking out towards their neighbor. Then in terms of existing photos, zoom this up. Okay, so you can see from the base of their driveway and the road, this is their grill, and this is where the pergola would come across, and there would be the masonry road. And this is the footprint. So it's not a large outdoor kitchen area. It's small, and we're trying to keep it nice and tight. This is the view from the road. So this bluestone paving would come up, and we would put in a new bluestone terrace, which is thermal to match what we did on the other side. And this is a view from the inside pergola looking towards the house. Let's see, these are some examples of trying to piece together what it's going to look like. So these are the double beams that we would like to do for the pergola, but this one would be painted white. This is an existing wall on the other side of the house, so that's what the wall would look like. And then the interior, we are proposing a white stucco with the dark gray countergray. Yeah, so we have here a gray granite to go in as a counter. And then these are the grill pieces that they picked out. And this Komodo is actually one of the smallest ones that's made, and we've picked out a black finish a lot of them are red or green. I think the one he has now is red. So we're really trying to be conscious of the visibility from the road. And I think I covered everything. One thing I just want to point out, because I know that the visuals from the road are important. In this elevation, you can see that I only have the portion of the wall with the stone wrapping here, and then this would be stucco. So that is, that's kind of a detail that it's going to show. And then I do have some 3D renderings that the grill people did, if you want to look at them, but I don't know if they're necessary. And I can show those up through my camera on my computer if you would like. And that is our application. So I think one of the things we wanted to try to do is have the build the pergola to kind of bring the scale of the house down because it's a very high facade up against that little small dining space. So I think it really kind of mitigates the fact that you don't feel like you're sitting underneath this big house when you're outside, because it's such a tight space. And I think it works with the architectural well. Okay, so that's my application. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have.
Thank you, Christina. Art? You there, Art?
Two questions. One, you mentioned
Wait,
that...
Jim. It's not your turn yet, Jim. Art?
Okay. Go ahead.
Art has lost his audio, so go ahead, Jim.
Two questions. One, you mentioned that visibility would not be a problem walking on the road. What about riding in a high SUV? That's one question. And the other question is, I see where you're going to cook, but where is the dining table, picnic table?
Okay. So to address your first question, in a high SUV, yeah, I guess, sorry, I have to take this thing, it's the double echo. The high SUV, I haven't thought about that, but I would think if you're walking, maybe you would add a foot or two, but the terrace is still 6 feet above the ground down on Harbor Road. So obviously it's a little bit higher if you're in a car, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, especially also because you're going to be moving. But I hope that helps answer that question. The second portion is that the dining terrace is on the other side of the house. This cooking area connects towards their kitchens right over here. So this is where they grill. And their interior dining room is at these double doors.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Chris? Oh, Chris lost sound too. George?
No questions.
Rosina?
No questions?
Okay, let me see if I can,
Somebody reply if you can hear me now.
I got you, Art. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, all that.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. They stopped.
Yeah, Chris did too. Okay, I don't have any questions, Christina, and I did not receive any letters of support or any letters against your application. So the hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Michael Lattice, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, 1170 Hillside Road for property located at 1170 Hillside Road. And therefore remove existing roof, A, and B, install Tesla solar shingles. Do we have someone representing this application? 1170 Harbor Road. Harbor Road, anyone? 1170 Harbor Road?
It's Hillside Road.
It's Hillside. Road.
There is no, what did I call it?
You were calling it Harbor Road.
1170 Hillside Road.
Right.
Sorry, it's a stressful meeting, I think. I'm losing it. Okay. We'll go on to the next item on the agenda. Preet and Vikram Bhutani, 480 Old Post Road in Fairfield for properties located at 480 Old Post Road. And the application is for remove existing white gravel driveway. A, B, install new asphalt driveway. C, install 16 by 40 in-ground pool. And D, install pool code fencing around property. Vikram, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. I'm muted. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can't see you.
Hold on. Can you see me now?
We don't necessarily have to see you though. But
Okay, that's even better.
you can just, if are you going to present your materials?
If you can, Adam, if you don't mind, you have the materials. If you can
Sure,
just
I can do that. Okay, Vikram, you can use the annotate tool to mark on the plan if you want to point things out. Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to magnify this a little. I apologize. I'm not a professional with this, but the way is the existing driveway. It has white stone. We're replacing the white stone with blacktop, just to keep it in code with the historic district. Our earlier application, we wanted to increase the size of the driveway. We respect the concern that the neighbors had, and so we're going to keep it in line with the existing driveway. We're not increasing the size. We're just replacing the white stone with blacktop.
Okay.
As far as the pool is concerned, as you see it on the survey, the pool is completely hidden from the street. It's in the back of the house, and the grade is, in fact, it's lower than the street level. No part of the pool is going to be visible from anywhere on the street. As far as the fencing is concerned, we want to do a fence, a cedar fence, as you see on the left-hand side. That's the fence that's going to be along the back of the house. And the picket fence, which is in line with the existing picket fence in the front of the house. That's the picket fence painted white. We're going to have that running from the garage, from the end of the property to the garage, then from the garage to the side of the house, and then going all the way to the right from the side of the house to the edge of the property. So anybody anywhere on Old Post Road, you would see the white picket fence, but on the sides of the property, we're going to be putting the cedar fence.
Okay.
On the right-hand side of the property, as you see it now on your screen, there is an old chain link fence. We don't own that fence. Nobody has come forward to say who owns that fence. We've checked with our neighbors. We don't own that driveway to the best of our knowledge. Our plan was, it already has vegetation, a living screen all along that. But to further fortify that, so to say, we're going to add pool grade mesh on the inside of that so that it's not visible, the pool's not visible, just to meet pool code.
Okay.
But none of that is visible from the street.
Okay. Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
Can't hear again. Unless you can hear me, I keep dialing in and lose it.
I can hear you, Art.
Oh, because it says no audio, but anyways, I apologize. No questions.
Okay, Jim?
The driveway on the drawing looks smaller than the driveway in the photograph. Can you talk about that?
The photograph is the real driveway. It is curved exactly like. I mean, we haven't touched anything. We moved into the house last July, and
Okay.
the driveway is the same.
Okay, can you show the drawing once more?
This one?
The drawing, right?
Some of that stone may have spread out further just from wear and tear, but
And go back to the photograph? Okay. I know you're playing tricks on me.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No other questions.
Chris? Thank you. Chris? Is Chris still not with us? Okay, George?
No questions.
Rosina?
Is there any proposed edging on the asphalt driveway or not at all?
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
This is our third go at this. We will do whatever you guys say. We just need to put blacktop there so if when it snows, we don't have trouble anymore.
No question.
Okay. I don't have any questions either, but I do have 2 letters of support that I'd like to share. So the first letter, dear HTC, we're writing in reference to 480 Old Post Road application to remove existing white gravel driveway and install asphalt on existing driveway. We have no issue with change of asphalt since it only covers the existing white gravel driveway. The photo included with the application shows a car parked on existing grass area, which is not the driveway. We just want to ensure that this area remains grass, is not used for parking, and is not seen as the existing driveway, so not asphalt. We greatly appreciate the owners taking neighbor concerns into consideration. We had discussed with the Butanis the chain link fence that borders the shared drive on our side, and are hoping that we can possibly extend the picket fence to the section of the yard at a shared cost. Many thanks, Karen and Bill Wingett. And then second letter from your commissioners. I'm Henry Backey and reside at 388 Old Post Road in Fairfield. I'm a former HDC commissioner and the current president of the Old Post Road Area Association. Thank you for your service to town for overseeing the preservation of our historic districts. I'm writing in support of the Butanis application to replace the gravel driveway with asphalt, install a pool with this necessary equipment, and install the pool compliant wood fencing in their backyard. The asphalt will be easier to maintain and more appropriate than the large size gravel that now exists on their driveway and parking area. I reviewed the application materials, and since there were no photos or elevations of the pool code wire mesh to be installed on the existing chain link fence, I cannot comment on the appropriateness of this portion of the application. I also would ask that if the pool equipment is visible from the public way, being the Old Post Road, that it be screened appropriately. I hope you decide in favor of this application with any necessary conditions. Sincerely, Henry Back. So, Vikram, I do have one question about pool equipment. Do you have a location for that?
Yes, absolutely. If we can go back to the survey, I can show you. So you see that the rectangle. Yes, exactly. Where it says proposed 3x6 concrete pad. So
okay, Great.
We already have our
So that's
HVAC
behind
equipment to the side of that, so it'll go right next to that.
Okay. Very good. I have no further questions then.
Adam,
and the meeting's
just one
closed.
quick thing.
Yes.
As the neighbors, as Bill and Karen said, so if we do replace the chain link fence with other pool code fence, do we have to come back for an application if it's not visible from
Yes.
from Old Post Road?
If it's not visible, no, but I would have to determine that it's not visible. The commission would have to determine that it's not visible. So if you'd like to do that, we can arrange a time for me and another commissioner to come out and take a look and determine if it is visible, then you would have to come for another meeting.
Okay,
Adam, one question. This is George.
Yes.
Is there any lighting in the pool?
Hi, George.
there is 3 lights inside the pool. That was standard what comes with the pool, I was told.
Nothing outside.
No. I mean, there is lighting
and
that
no
we have
pool
on the
deck
back
either.
of the house. That's always been there.
No additional lighting.
Not in the pool, no.
Is that it, George?
I'm done.
Okay. And Vikram, there's no pool decking, right? It's just a coping
Yes.
and grass? Okay. Okay, great. That's it. The hearing's closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Haley and Christopher Milligan, 75 Old South Road, for property located at 75 Old South Road. For A, new 2-car garage with office above an existing garage footprint. B, rear 1-story addition and off-screen porch. C, new basement under mudroom and garage with bedroom and mechanical space. D, new casement window and attic to meet egress for bedroom. And E, new pool and terrace work in rear.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, this is Tanner White. I'm the architect who's going to be speaking on behalf of Chris and Haley Milligan. I also have the landscape architects here as well. We've got Joe and Catherine Herman here. So they're going to chime in whenever it gets to the pool in the back. But as far as the architectural stuff, I'd kick that off initially and go from there. So what we're doing architecturally is we are doing a addition in the rear, which is a proposed screen porch. It's essentially an extension of the existing structure. It's not seen from the street off of Old South Road. We're doing a pool, an in-ground pool, and a bunch of terrace work as well. But the main part of this hearing and this application is going to be this 2-car garage here. So we are taking down the existing 2-car garage and building in the exact same footprint a 2-car garage with finished space above. The existing roof line was too low in order to allow for proposed finished space above the garage. So we are taking it down and basically rebuilding it in its spot, and adding a shed dormers off the back and the front in order to allow for adequate headroom. In addition to the 2-car garage, the rear screen porch, the terraces, and the pool, as well as the pool fence, in the back of the property, we're also, on a minor note, going to be adding finishing the attic on the 3rd floor, and so we have to change the arched window, the arched double hung window on the front of the house to be to meet egress. So we have to enlarge that window, and that's done on our architecturals as well. Okay, so if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll go to the architecturals, which are here. So this is the existing front of the house as seen from Old South. Right here, this is the garage, which is the focus of the roof. And then in the rear of the house, which again, it's not seen from Old South, but I'd bring it up, is this little one-story, call it sunroom right now, that we're going to be extending in the exact same shape and form. So go to the proposed application drawings. We are here. So this is the existing, or I'm sorry, this is the proposed front of the house as seen from Old South. This is the rebuilt garage with this shed dormer here. We aligned the edge of the eave to match the rest of the house to be consistent, and it's also still lower than the rest of the house in consistency with what was there existing. New garage doors, new addition, but basically this, because we have something that's already existing there as it is right now, we're going to be matching all of the materials, all of the eave details, all of the crown above the windows. We're actually going to be matching the windows. Everything's just basically going to be harmonious to the existing structure, but just enlarged in height and shape in order to allow for the finished space above. The rear of the house is right here, and this is the one-story screen porch that we're going to be extending and lengthening. We call it a screen porch because although it is enclosed, the idea is that all of these windows are able to open up and the screens can come down. Therefore, it could be a screened-in porch. But really, it's more of I would call it a three seasons room. Following the rest of this application are the window specs, which are supposed to just match the existing profile. And then at the end of this application are the existing and proposed renderings. And then I've sort of combined them onto one page so that everyone can see. This is the view from Old South. So on the right here is the existing front of the house. And on the left, you can see the addition here. Okay. Other notes on the application are the fencing, terracing, pooling, the pool in the back, all of that stuff. I'm going to have Joe and Catherine kind of weigh in on, as well as, but as far as the architectural work, it's the garage from the front of the house and also this casement window, or I'm sorry, this existing double hung window here that we're going to be replacing in order to meet egress for the future bedroom. And in short, that's the application. It's we're doing the pool, the rear screen porch, the rebuilding of the garage with the finished space above, and then the finishing of the third floor, which requires a new casement window on the front of the house.
Okay, is that it?
That's it on my end. If you guys have any other questions or want to talk about, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Art, do you have any questions?
No, thanks.
Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Chris?
Can you guys hear me?
I can. Hey, Chris.
Okay, I called back in again. So the new window in the, I guess it's the attic.
Correct.
The egress window. And I guess you had a like a half round, like a circle top window, and now you're going to a flat head for I guess for egress. Were you able to get a window that met egress with that arch top?
Well, this is going to be, so I'm okay with keeping the existing arched window as long as it is a casement window, because a double hung window, as you know, in order to make it egress, I need it to be 3 feet wide by 5.5 feet high. And the windows here are only 30 inches wide by 4.5 feet high. So I had to make it a casement window here, as you can see by this little, dotted line here, showing that it's a casement. Now, if you guys would prefer that we keep it an arched window and just make it a faux, double hung window, but still be a casement to meet egress, completely fine with that as well.
And then it would, you would not have the shutters on it, I would imagine.
Well, in fact, correct. In actuality, though, the shutters, yeah, it would not need. Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, I'm sorry, there are shutters, I guess, on the existing arch.
There are shutters on the existing. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then the muntins on the windows, that's I guess you're keeping that same style with the new windows.
Correct. So
Large,
everything is. Sorry, yeah, everything is 2/2 currently, and we're just matching that exact pattern. All of the new windows on the back of the house are the same profile as well. But anything that's going to be seen from the front, yeah, we're just matching 2/2 window, matching the head casing, matching every single detail that's existing currently.
Okay, and you didn't really talk about the pool in your application. Did you have a consultant that you wanted to?
Yes. So the architecture. Yeah. So the architectural work I wanted to cover, but the pool as well as that pool fence that's going to be required, which was in the very beginning of this application, I can speak about briefly, but I'd prefer if Joe and Catherine, who are the landscape architects, consultants, would talk on that part.
Yeah, I think we should hear that. Isn't that right, Adam, before we go further?
Yeah. You should, I was hoping you'd do the whole application at once. Present the whole application at the same time, including the pool.
Sure, yeah. So Joe, Catherine, are you there?
I am. I don't know if you can hear me. This is Joe.
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is Joe Werner, architect, working with Catherine Herman Design. Let me see if I can. I don't know how to share my screen on here. Tanner, I suppose you could just.
I just clicked stop sharing, so you should be all set.
I just have to figure out how.
To the right of stop my video should be a button that says shared content. It's the third button from the left.
Okay. Screen. Just keep getting all these little pop-ups. Screen one.
While you're doing that, Joe. Oh, did you get it? Hang on. There you go.
I'm not sure.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So just to discuss the pool for a moment, it's an in-ground pool. It's 15 by 44. We're showing a reclaimed granite material likely around this, and everything is roughly at grade. So that's not of concern. None of it is visible from the street to begin with, but just to go through the enclosure for that, I'm going to trace with my cursor where that pool enclosure follows, starts at this rear corner of the architecture and carries to the property line with one single gate located right here. It carries all the way along behind the plant material screened through here, all the way back to this corner where we have a double gate out the tail of the property and then down to follow the property line through here to this corner of the building with a double gate. And those details are here. It's a clear red cedar fence painted white with square pickets with colonial points to match a lot of what's existing on the same street. We've got solid panel fencing to provide some privacy, but also achieve pool code and some permeability through, and then just a standard double picket pool code gate at the back where I had shown you here. And this is the other double gate which exists here at the front. We also have a small shower enclosure located where my cursor is now with one single gate. And we've detailed that with just solid board fencing and a very simple gate shown here. Are there any questions on these drawings?
Yeah, this is Chris
Can we
again.
start from the beginning? Okay. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, thank you. On the landscape plan, L 1.0, you're indicating a fire feature in the terrace. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It would be a purchased element that would just sit on top of the terrace. It wouldn't necessarily be a built-in stone feature. All of the furnishings on here are basically just shown for context at this point.
So you're not asking for approval for that? It's just that's like a piece of furniture or an accessory?
Correct.
It's not a fire pit with like gas to it or anything?
It may have a gas hookup to it, but it would not be a built-in element. It would be purchased to sit on top of the ground.
Okay. And then that it's hard. I mean, most of this is not visible from a public way, so I don't want to take up too much time. The pool equipment, where is that located?
The pool equipment is located to the left of the garage over here, and it would be concealed by an evergreen hedge.
Okay, and is that, that's, I guess, inside of the setback, obviously, for the neighboring property?
Correct. It meets the accessory setback requirements.
Okay.
Just to note is that in front of all of this fencing that is visible from the front, all concealed by an evergreen hedge.
Okay, thank you very much. Tanner, just going back to the architectural plans for a minute, I don't see any on the addition, like the garage. Is the roof on the garage going to match the existing roof?
I'm sorry. It starts off at the same spring point, but it's a gambrel as opposed to the existing gable.
Yeah, it's got like the engaged dormers.
Correct.
In it.
Correct.
And the roof material, it looks like the roof is raised a little bit so that it becomes in the same plane with the connector.
Correct.
At the lower level.
Yeah, and that was done intentionally because it looked aesthetically more pleasing, I thought, to connect it to the existing roof that was over the mudroom entrance, rather than this sort of abrupt disconnect.
And then that like engaged shed dormer, that looks like it must have some sort of a copper flat roof there before you get to the windows, because it looks like it's kind of below the line of the roof.
I actually, let me just open this up 1 second so that I can share my screen. Yes, there's going to be, as you can see from the front elevation, there looks to be about a 6-inch or 7-inch copper pan in order to get the same size window on the second floor as to match the rest of the house.
Right. Okay, and then all the windows, I know I did see the submittal, I have it in front of me, but it was a little bit unclear. It talked about them being all wood, but then there was also some, in the submittal package, there was some information about a cladding, and I'm just confirming that these windows are
Definitely not clad windows. They're definitely not clad windows. They are going to be wood windows that are in the Pella series, recognized by the Historic Society of. We confirmed it with Pella, so they're definitely wood windows. I think on page 24 it says product description wood exterior. That's the part that we are including in this. So it's definitely wood. No AZAC, no cladding of any kind.
Okay, great. And then lastly, do you have, are there gutters and leaders planned for this? Because I didn't see them.
We didn't draw them in our architecturals, but we would need them, and they would be to match what's existing. So there's copper gutters that would be on the front of the garage, as well as the rear of the garage. So whatever's there is in theory going to remain.
Okay, and that would also, I guess, be on the shed dormer on the front of the garage as well?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
George, do you have any questions?
The only question I have is regarding lighting. I don't see anything talking about lighting in the front or in the back.
We're not proposing any new lighting. We are basically there is one existing garage light in between the existing garage doors. There's one. I'm sorry. Let me share my screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. So there is one existing light right here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So we're not going to change that. We're going to remove this and put it right back where it was. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Rosina?
The garage door and the door that's on the back of the garage, those are also wood, right?
Correct. Everything on the that we show, I think we call it out on the notes on the elevations that everything is going to be wood and match existing. There's no AZEC of any kind.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, I don't have any questions, and I did not receive any letters in favor or against this application. So this hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I think, unfortunately, we've run out of time. We only had until 6:30, I believe, and somebody's been trying to log in and host another meeting. So we can take a recess and re-log in on a WebEx 2 meeting, the way we were supposed to do it the first time. And like, I think ZBA is supposed to be done until at 6:30. Who knows if they're going to be done at 6:30 or not, but we can reconvene then. Does that sound good to everyone? We have.
That's fine, Adam.
Anyone? We have two more items on the agenda that need to be taken care of. David Montani and Nicolache. And I want to hear them tonight because I don't think it's fair to exclude them. And we still have to vote on all these applications and go through the rest of the agenda. So is Steve, you there?
Yes, I am.
Steve?
What time did you want to reconvene?
I mean, I can try and as soon as I can get on the meeting, I'll have to see if the Zoning Board of Appeals is over. We can wait maybe 15, 20 minutes, take a break, and then reconvene then. Does that sound okay?
That's fine with me, yes.
Okay, let me see if David's with us.
You want to set it up for quarter to 7?
Reconvening on Web 2?
Dave Montani, can you hear me? Dave Montani, hello? Okay. Dave's not there.
No, Dave says he can hear you.
Oh, I can't hear him for some reason. Well, Dave, if you can hear me, we're gonna have to reconvene in about 15 to 20 minutes on a WebEx 2, the way we were supposed to originally log in, because we're gonna get kicked off with this. I think anyway. Yes. No. I just hope that we're not using the WebEx 2 now, because that'll be a problem. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna log off end the meeting, and allow these other people to have their meeting, and we'll have to reconvene in 20 minutes on WebEx 2. Okay.
Thank you.
So
Sorry everyone for the inconvenience.
6:50. You want to reconvene on WebEx 2?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, this is the Historic District Commission reconvening June 11th, 2020. And we have all the commissioners from previously. Next on the agenda is David Montani, 970 Old Post Road, for property located at 970 Old Post Road. The application is for replacement of attic windows with new windows, and B, replace existing picket fence, changing picket heights. Dave, can you hear? Dave, are you there? Great. Okay, we'll pass Dave, and hopefully he'll figure out what to do. Next on the agenda is DeCalache, Deanne, and Drouet Trustee, 104 Old South Road, Southport, for property located 104 Old South Road in Southport. The application is for back porch columns and railings, B, step lights and porch steps, C, skylights on east elevation, D, lights, 2 lights on shed to match on back porch, and E, stone base on right front porch to match main front roof. And I'm recusing myself on this application. Chris will be running this meeting, this hearing. Chris?
Okay, thank you. Stephen, are you going to present the application? Oh, can you, I don't have any audio for you, Stephen. Still no audio. I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Steve. Steve, I've got no audio from you. I can't hear you.
Is Dave Montani back?
Can you hear me, Adam?
Dave? Yeah, Dave. Hey, okay, Chris, let's go back to the yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can.
Okay, let's go back to the previous application.
Can you hear me now?
Dave
Sorry,
Montani?
sorry.
Steve, okay. Steve,
Yeah, my phone.
Steve,
cut off.
we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the previous application.
Okay.
We have Dave back. So, Dave Montani, 970 Old Post Road, for property located 970 Old Post Road, for replacement of attic windows with new windows, and B, replace existing picket fence, changing picket heights. Go ahead.
So, Adam, you have whatever I had submitted to you, surveying some photos of some a fence. I was initially going to change my fence, and the only thing I was changing was the height of the pickets, which was alternating, which was a fence that I inherited when I purchased the property. And I was replicating the fence that was across the street in 4 or 5 houses, successive houses across the street. So that was my plan was to replace the fence. That's a photo of my original fence, which was rotted in numerous places, and I had to strap up to keep up. So it's actually a hazard. So we took that down, and our intent is to replicate the fences across the street, which is a 42-inch height picket fence that you see there. That is my neighbor across the street. With cedar painted white.
You want to talk about the windows?
Sure. We had noticed at some point a few months prior that there were some birds in our attic. It is an attic that is an unused attic. The only way you access it is through a sort of a trap door in a closet. And we went up there to check it out, and we noticed that there were several windows that were cracked and that had the glass had broke. So I hired a gentleman that does some handiwork for me to replace a couple of the windows, which he, unbeknownst to me, he went and purchased these windows, which were vinyl. And he ended up replacing all 10 windows around the house. It's an attic, it's like a crawl space type attic. And that's what he put in. They cleaned it up, but I didn't realize it was vinyl until he told me some, weeks later when we got together. So that's what it was. I still have the old windows still in the attic. The glass is broken, numerous windows, and the seals are pretty poor, so they needed to be replaced anyway. He purchased the windows, and he wasn't aware of the regulations based on my house location.
Okay. Is that your presentation?
Correct.
Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Jim, questions?
No questions.
Chris?
I don't have any questions. Actually, sorry, just on the fencing. So your new fence that you're proposing is all made of wood, correct?
100% cedar.
Okay, thank you.
George? George, would you like to comment? Okay. Rosina?
I have questions about the windows. I did notice that the windows were changed several months ago, and I was concerned because the original design of the windows are fairly elaborate, and per our HTC
I'm sorry, I apologize, I couldn't hear that.
That I noticed that the windows had changed several months ago, and I was concerned because the design had completely changed. They were kind of a nice design, not fairly elaborate, but they had mountains. And per our HTC handout, it indicates that the mountain thickness is a critical aspect of building design, and any alteration to the configuration, however minor, can be visually disturbing. So that's kind of one of my concerns. I can share my screen to show what the window looks like, if anyone's interested, and that other windows in our neighborhood follow a similar detailing. So basically, as you can see here, this is the window. And what we have now, it's just a simple vinyl window. It's not even wood, which is part of what the HCC is always looking forward to. So that is my main concern. I have no problems with the fence, but I do have an issue with the windows because other windows in our neighborhood, as you can see here, which is a house across the street from the Montanis, also have an elaborate design in their attic windows. So it's always good to respect historic fabric.
Understood. The rest of the house, with the exception of the rear windows facing the rear of the property, none of them have any of that detail in them.
I understand, but the ones that face the street and the ones that face towards the beach definitely had them. So it's just a concern of mine, and it's for the HCC handout, one of what I quoted. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. George, do you have any comments or questions?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, my issues were related to the windows as well. They're all wood. There is some detail to the old windows. I'm missing the detail in the new windows.
Okay.
Is that it? Anyone else?
I'm done with that, yeah.
Okay. I don't have any questions for you, Dave. I did not receive any letters supporting this application. I did not receive any letters against this application. So thank you, Dave. This hearing is closed.
Thank you.
And then the last item on the agenda is the Decaliche that I will be recusing. I'll just read it one more time. Alex and Dee Decaliche, 104 Old South Road, Southport, for property located at 104 Old Southport Road. Old South Road in Southport, excuse me. For A, back porch columns and railing. B, step lights and porch steps. C, skylight on east elevation. D, lights, 2 on shed to match on back porch. E, stone base on right side front porch to match main front porch. Chris?
Yeah, hi. Adam is recused on this application, and we're looking forward to hearing from Steve, who's presenting, I believe.
Yes, Chris, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. I'm going to see if I can share my screen, which I've never done before, so let's see how it goes. Bear with me 1 second. Can everybody see that? Hello?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to try again. How about that?
Yes. Now we're good.
Okay. That's okay? Okay. Okay, so number one, the back porch columns and railing. This was actually, there was a letter that came January 4th.
We've lost your audio. Stephen?
Yes.
Now I can hear you. Steve, can you hear us? We've lost your audio, Steve. You may have to dial in again. Steve?
Hello? Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so on the back porch, it had gone back and forth on the way the steps were configured. And they are in the position that was previously approved before I was involved, but they've also added a little stone riser out of bluestone, a little small, but that's where the arrow is. And then in a previously approved application, again, I'm not sure the date, they had round columns. The way that they would like to do this, here's the above picture is what was there before they did any of the renovations to the exterior. This is in its current condition. We had previously talked about the skylights and the windows, which I do need to seek a clarification at some point at the end of the meeting. And then you can see here where I've got 4 square columns. They are 8x8 painted wood square columns. Really no detail at the top, very simple and clean. The steps recess the back. They have a painted apron. The surface of the steps is epay, similar to the epay that's on the porch. And then a very simple railing, similar to what was there originally, white painted pickets, 5/4 inch cedar with a cedar top rail and a cedar lower rail. Then item number 2, which are step lights in the porch steps. In the packet, let me see if I can scroll down. Bear with me. Bear with me a moment, please. Okay, they're very small. These, I think they're 1 watt. They're almost an inch big. They're really tiny. And they're proposing to put them in 2 per riser. Very low, very, very low wattage. Just to give a little bit of illumination to the treads. I'm going to come back to item 3 in just a second, or item C, and then item D, which are 2 lights on the shed to match the back porch. This is the light that is on the back porch that I believe had been approved. We're proposing 2 of them on the back shed. Now, relative to the back shed, if you don't mind, the owner did receive a letter today from HDC regarding the shed. Again, I got a phone call at 3:30 saying they had received the letter. So I think there are some issues with the shed. So with these 2 lights that we're proposing, it would be nice to see if you would deem them appropriate. But I think there are other issues of the shed that we may need to address at another hearing as well. Okay, and now item C, which is the skylights. Now, again, there was a little bit of confusion on the skylights. We had, at one point we had 4, then we went to 2. There was discussion about just having skylights in a HDC district. And when I went back, and I think that, we had 2 in the last application, I went back to the owner, and again, it's a little difficult without Alex, the owner, being here, because obviously he's much more familiar with the process and the previous approvals. But this particular skylight had been submitted on June 20th to a previous hearing, and there is a certificate of appropriateness for one of these skylights. There was a little confusion, I think, that I haven't clarified yet with Adam on this, but I did find the previous certificate of approval that you probably should have in your file somewhere, and that is dated, I think it was, hold on, June, let's see. I think it was in July, whatever the next hearing, there was an approval for it. And so what we would like to ask is for two, however, assuming that one was approved, which still needs to be understood a little more completely with what had been approved, because I think there was some confusion in the communication there. But if at the very least to have one approved. The room upstairs is being used as a playroom or will be used as a playroom. There are two windows at the ends, and it would be nice to get a light in there. Again, there was one which was much smaller, which we had a previous discussion. And Alex assures me that this was submitted back in June and had been approved. Again, I think that's why I have on my application requiring further discussion. But at the very least, we would like to get one approved. And then Part E, the stone base, there is a repair order that was approved for the front porches. And the left-hand porch has a stone base. It's some kind of schist, I guess, or it's like almost like not brownstone. It's like schist, and they're probably 16 by 24, something like that. And the porch on the right-hand side is wood. We would like to propose matching the stone that's on the main porch on the right-hand porch, keeping the wood fascia and everything else, the details exactly the same, but just doing the stone base for a number of reasons. One, for durability, but also, yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt for just a second. Could you please go back to the plan and point to the stone that you're referring to so that the commissioners
sure
can
sorry about that.
Maybe better understand that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so on the front porch, on the left where the cursor is, this has a stone base that wraps all the way around into where the stair comes up onto the porch. The stone is also around the main base of the house. The porch on the right-hand side is currently is wood, and there's lattice. It's actually in pretty poor shape, and it's wood that goes up around into this. So in terms of a facing, we would like to do a similar stone facing that's on the main porch at the perimeter of the right-hand porch, as well as to the left and to the right of the wood steps that go up to the porch. On the elevation, let's see. So on the front elevation, on the left, existing, there is stone currently, left and right. The porch on the right has a type of lattice type thing with a little wooden frame. Again, I've got this kind of handwritten here, but the new stone would like to match the main porch. One, just for the matching look, but mainly for the durability and the sustainability of the porch itself. Unique to this particular house, which I haven't seen, there may be another one in Southport where in plan, the porch itself, the covering, sits a little further back, and I guess you might call it a terrazzo, I guess, or a terrace, or even a veranda, I guess, back then. This is exposed to weather, and you know, I think it's a unique feature of the house. If I may just go back to the skylights again. Again, there was one, it was smaller. We would like to do two, and again, I think there's a little confusion about what was approved, and the submission sheet that we gave was submitted back then. Again, they're willing, I think, to go with one. We would like to have two. And then really finally, the last question was more about a clarification. It doesn't show up on the application form, and it had to do with these windows on the back that were shown as casements within the packet that I gave you. It was clarifying that they were, in fact, wood windows, and there's a Pella Reserved Traditional series that is an all-wood window. Again, it's not on the application, but it was part of the application submission, more of a clarification. And again, if I made an error in the way that they is supposed to be on the application, then we can certainly resubmit. But it was the way I understood it was more of a clarification that those items that had been approved conditionally were that they would be all wood, and they are all wood. The cut sheet is here as well as the specification. I think that's it. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Rosina, would you like to start?
Let's see. I'm not very familiar with the kind of history of how this house was added on or not throughout the years, but was that second porch part of the original house, or was that an addition to the house, you know?
There were some older pictures that I think go back. I think the earliest picture that Alex showed me was 1920s. It definitely was not built to the same standard, if you will, as that front porch. Underneath, and it may have been renovated at some point, maybe when they did the renovations in the back before HDC was around, or at least in process. So when you look underneath the porch, there's some pretty shoddy brick foundation. It is a little hodgepodge. I think there may have been a porch there before, but it was a pretty good attempt, I think, to match the front. Interestingly, the front portico on the main part of the house has, I think it's Corinthian columns. They're quite decorative. The ones on the right-hand side, I guess you'd call them Doric, or they're a little simpler. The capital is a little simpler. So I think there's a nice dialogue between the front porch and the side porch that faces the front. But the plan is very similar in terms of the extended veranda, if you want to call it that. Just that the base it's wood with again a lattice. So, but I'm not sure of the history of the right-hand piece. But architecturally, it definitely has a nice dialogue with the front porch. Other than, and again, the stone base is more for a sustainability and a durability type thing. And I think they prefer the aesthetic. It just looks a little bolder with the stone.
And the reason I'm asking is just kind of in the past, usually additions to historic houses were done in a way so that you will differentiate the original to the other one. And that might have been the reason why it's not stone. So that's basically my main question. In terms of the skylight, somehow I thought we were not interested in the two skylights. In one of the meetings that I was present, I might be wrong, but I don't think that the two skylights.
Rosina, you are correct. You are correct that the two skylights, we had talked about only one. And when I went back to Alex, it was more just a pushback from him a little bit saying, but we had one approved. And again, that's really why I went back to him and said, look, we've already tried this, right? So the way he approached it to me was that one had been approved in the side, and we're only asking for one. So again, I don't need to kind of pass distinctions in any way or anything, but it was more just the way he positioned was one had been approved. Here's the paperwork to back that up, and please ask for one more. Again, that was just how he presented it. So again, you're correct. We had talked about that when I presented it back to Alex. He asked me to just go politely as I can for one more, given that he felt that the previous one had been approved. That was where that discussion came from. So again, I think given all the discussions we've had with the 4 and the 2 and the 1, and again, I think I'll leave that to your discretion. But
okay.
Yeah, I think we have discussed that to its final end, I think.
Okay. In terms of the windows, thanks for clarifying that they're wood windows. If I recall correctly, in one of the meetings, we had been discussing about the casement windows coming back as having that middle rail so that they will look more like double hung windows. Is that
Correct.
something that you guys were still looking into, or?
Yes, and hopefully you can see, I don't know if I can make this bigger. Not sure how to make that bigger, but this window, sorry, it's a little small. It is a, I guess you call it a faux casement with a cross rail. It's hard to see in this picture, I apologize. It is part of the packet, but it is a casement. It's a fixed casement with that cross rail to give it the look of a double hung. That was submitted the last time, but I did not have the specification on the material, which was clarified, hopefully today.
Okay, thank you. And can you clarify again what item number 8, please?
I'm sorry, the first one, item 1?
8, yes.
8, yes. So I'm just going to go back to the drawing. Hold on. Bear with me one moment. Okay. So the top drawing is the previous existing before any of this. And there was a proposal for a porch on the back that had round columns, similar to the front. Okay. Now, again, I'm not sure what was the governing decision of why they preferred this, other than I think the columns were actually quite large. It did take away some of the usable porch. A letter had come to them in January, I believe it was, where they had built some temporary steps that were actually outside of the face of the porch, which I think, flagged a number of things, including the skylights and changes to the back. We had shelved this for quite a while, addressing the other items, because there was a number of things that we looked at where if the porch steps had gone out into the back garden, we would have required a variance, which they decided not to pursue for a number of reasons, probably because, with the neighbors, it would, again, it's all hard sometimes to cart before the horse. And so what they decided to was, okay, let's set the steps back as they had been approved by zoning and in plan form by HDC. And then the square columns were really their preference. Again, I'm not sure, whether it's aesthetic or cost related, I'm not sure. But the round columns were occupying quite a bit of space in the porch, which is not terribly big. And especially pushing the steps back, I think it began to really erode into that. There is a little hatch that is in that porch that accesses to the old basement. So even with that pushed back, it became a little bit of a problematic functionally. So the way it is now is they have simple square columns, a very simple rail that is not unlike the railing that was on the house. Now, also in the previous application, when they were round columns, there was a grading issue for the pool, which again is addressed in a letter that came to them today, which we'll address at another time, where one less step was required. And so I think at that point, given code, it was 30 inches, you wouldn't need to have a handrail. So there's quite a few changes on that relative to the aesthetics, the use. Hopefully that answers the question.
So the proposed elevation is what's built at the moment?
Correct. The one that's on the drawing that's represented below. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I have no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosina. Art? Do you have any questions?
Nothing for me. No, nothing for me.
Okay. George?
Yeah. Good afternoon. I was not aware of, and maybe of the approval of the HDC on the single skylight on this elevation, I guess I first asked the question: was it the same size window, or was it smaller or larger? What was the proposal that was approved?
Yeah, the skylight, again, there's a little confusion here, but the skylight that was approved that is in the submission package is this one that's 21 by 70 inches. Now, this is dated June 20th, and I think the application was actually June 16th, but there is and I can see if I can, there is, I don't know if I can pull that up, there was an approval of appropriateness, I guess, certificate of appropriateness based on that previous application that stated, I think it's July, and you know, when I spoke with Adam when I first took over this job, there was a little confusion about the skylight. There was a skylight there that was small. It had a wire type glass that was typical of probably of the 20s. And his recollection also was that the skylight was approved based upon a like size substitution. That was the discussion I think that was also had before the meeting last time or the time before. And again, when I went back to Alex, I mentioned that to him, and he goes, "No, it was definitely approved." He pulled out what was submitted as well as the certificate of appropriateness. Now, I'm not sure if there's a file that is kept. Again, I do have a copy of it somewhere, but I don't have access to it online to be able to show you that, to be able to verify that what I'm telling you is in fact what may be true. So again, it may be one of an application. Again, because maybe Adam had recused himself, he may not have known what had been approved. I'm not sure. So I'm trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and maybe there's a file that we can look into just to double check that, because again, I'm kind of hearing a few things there, which again, I'm not sure how we proceed from there, but I'm hoping that maybe there's a file that we can go back into to see that, because Alex does seem to remember that at least one of that size had been approved. Now, again, why he went ahead and put three more, or at least whatever it was, I have no idea.
Yeah, but I don't want to go down that hole. I don't want.
Yeah.
I just think I think we need to. At least I would like to confirm that what was approved. And Chris, I'm sure we'd have those files, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. And as for the lights on the shed, what's the illumination in those?
I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
On the two lights that you want to put on the shed, what's the illumination?
Right. So
how
the
bright is
illumination.
it?
Yeah, they it's like an Edison bulb. I think they're about 40 watts. The one that they have on the house, and scrolling down, it's just kind of a long linear tube. The one that they have on the house is a little bit more of a bulbous type, but it's still an Edison bulb. So it's actually a very well, it's quite dim actually, but the maximum wattage on these is 60, but I think this particular bulb is probably a 20-watt bulb. The one on they have the house, again, it has kind of a very kind of a golden light because of the type of the bulb and the filament that's in there. The size of it, sorry, I can't quite see that. I think that's, let me see, I have the cut sheet here in paper form. Hold on. And again, for the shed, as I mentioned, hold on. Yeah, so this is, they're 6 inches wide by 17 from the very top to the bottom, and they protrude about 9 inches. It says the wattage here is 60 T. I'm not really sure what a T bulb is. I guess this is linear Edison bulb, but they're really quite elegant of a bulb. But I mentioned that there was a note, and maybe Mr. Shea can address this a little bit. There was a question on the shed that we have to address. So it's more contingent on what we have to do there. And again, I'm not so sure what that issue is with the shed, which we'll hopefully be able to correct shortly. Does that answer your question, I hope?
I guess it does, but I guess then I'm not sure whether the lights are something that you want to move forward with today, or whether you want to make this all part of
I would
whatever
like
else is going on.
I would like to at least have that approved, contingent on what has to happen with the shed. But it would be nice to approve the design for it, and there would be 2 of them left and right of the door that is there now.
Right. Okay, I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you, George. Jim?
No questions.
Okay. Have I missed any commissioners I got, Steve, thanks for your presentation. I had item E, you call it a stone base, but it's really kind of like a stone veneer, right, on the face of the shed.
Correct. Yeah, it's a stone veneer.
Front porch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stone veneer, and I think that veneer is, I think it's a 4-inch veneer that's there now. It's like they're pretty good sized stones. They look like a schist type of stone. It might be granite schist. It's a gray stone. Has a little mica content in there, and they are about 24 by 36, or maybe 18 by 24. They're good size. Again, I haven't sourced with the mason yet the exact match, but Alex does tell me he's spoken to the mason and that it is he can get that. But again, I'd like to definitely see it. But
and so just so I understand how this is going to finish, when you get the stone up to the elevation of the deck, are you going to extend the deck to cover the stone veneer?
Yeah, there is a fascia, a wood fascia that extends down, and I think it's a 1x6 cedar. So you have the deck. Below the deck, or the overhang of the deck, there's a 1x6 cedar fascia that's painted, and then below that is the stone. So it's sort of like a little apron that covers the top of the stone.
So the stone is so that fascia is proud of the stone veneer.
Correct. Yes.
It's tucked behind the stone veneer is tucked behind that fascia.
Correct.
Okay. And then the step lights that you're proposing, I didn't see, and I may have overlooked it. I have your application in front of me. I didn't see the quantity of those.
Right. So there are 2 per step, and there are, let's see, I think there are 3 rises. So there'll be a total of 12, I believe.
It looks like there's 4 risers on your drawing.
Yeah. Well, the bottom one, one second. I think the bottom one is actually a stone.
No, if you don't count the stone one, it still looks like there's 4, unless I'm.
Oh no! Right. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, you're correct. So it's 4. So it'd be 8. That's 16. It's quite a lot, but there's there's a 5-foot width, and there's 2. If you can see my cursor on the screen, so the proposal is to have kind of one there and then one opposite, probably 6 inches from the end. Again, they're tiny, almost like little buttons. They're really, really small.
Okay. And then this is just more of a clarification. I know last time, and thank you for submitting this specs on the windows. Last time you did say, absolutely they're going to be made of wood exteriors, but the specs that you've submitted it says the Pella Reserve traditional precision fit casement. It calls it an aluminum EnduraClad exterior.
Yeah,
and it says the exterior is aluminum clad exterior shall be finished with EnduraClad protective finish and a multi-step takedown finish. So,
so this,
I'm confused.
Yeah. So on that first, hopefully you can see my screen right here. This screen, it's a all wood window. I know in this specification, there's a whole bunch of materials called out, right? Some do come in aluminum clad with the Endura finish, all those types of things. But this particular one is all wood casement. It's wood painted. It's an all wood window. But they do come in these other options. But it is all wood.
Okay.
And I really doubled down on that just to really see. Okay, it's wood, and finally I found, because I couldn't find when I first found that specification. I saw the same thing you did. But no, this particular series does come in an all wood wood window.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have no further questions. Would any other commissioners want to add any questions for Steve, this application? Okay, then I'm going to turn this back over to Adam, and he can let us know if there's any letters.
One last thing,
or,
I do really want to thank all of you, by the way, if I may, just because this is a really tough situation that we're all online, and I do appreciate your time today. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Adam, I was going to turn it back over to you. I don't know if you received any emails or letters in favor of or opposed to this application.
Oh, sorry. I just said I didn't receive any letters in favor or opposed to this application.
Okay, great. Then the hearing is now closed.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So there's one application that we didn't hear, 1170 Hillside Road. Is anyone, I see some callers called in. I'm not sure if that's for some of the other people, but is there anyone here for 1170 Hillside Road? Okay, hearing that no one is here, I guess we'll move on to voting on these items. And we'll start with number 1, Henderson, Peter T. and Amy Redgate, 62 Center Street, for property located at 62 Center Street. And it's for A, fences and gates, B, pool gate, C, bluestone steps and walkway, D, bluestone edge, native stone edge at house for roof runoff, sown along new fence and sidewalk, changes to previously approved pergola, G, changes to previously approved driveway, H, changes to previously approved terrace and walkways, and I, path lights. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve those items as presented.
Okay. A second?
I'll second that, Art. That's George.
You state your name when you second it so we know. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any discussion? No discussion?
Did I understand correctly that there was one of the items that the owners were not interested in pursuing? Is that correct, or?
I don't recall previously approved terrace walkway. Something that maybe with the driveway, but I don't think so.
There was something about the driveway, yes.
It was the 4-inch thick bluestone pavers in the grass, but I don't think that's in the application. It's just on the plan.
Right.
Right. And yeah, so okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. George.
Aye.
So is that okay, anyone opposed? No, okay, so the motion passes unanimously. By the way, we have, let me see, make sure the alternates know what they're voting on, because we have.
That's right.
5. Okay, so on that one, we're good. We have Hart, Chris, Rosina. Okay, so yeah, George, you voted on. I'm sorry, Jim voted on that one. Is that right?
Okay, so I'm out. Okay, that's cool.
George seconded
I
that
also
application.
proposed. I seconded that. Remember?
So he can't
okay,
second
so,
it.
well, we could just, okay, we can have George do that one, and we'll just change the alternate.
That's probably easier.
So, Jim, you're on the next one, okay?
Okay.
All right. Next item on the agenda, Dale MacGyver and Catherine Watts, 187 Westway Road, for property located at 187 Westway Road for A, in-ground pools, and B, fences and gates. We have a motion.
I'll approve that one as presented, with the stipulation that there is some planting around the pool equipment.
Okay.
Art will second that.
Stipulation. Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. Okay, the next item on the agenda. David J. Ives, Elizabeth M. Ives, 411 Harbor Road, for property located at 411 Harbor Road, for A, fence on north side of property, B, AC unit, C, auxiliary parking turning area, D, generator wall and associated landscaping, E, replace existing path light fixtures and add new path light fixtures, locations only, according to them, F, new steps and terrace, G, gas boiler flue termination, and H, metal chimney termination. All in favor? I'm sorry, do we have a motion? Not all in favor.
Adam, this is Art. I'll make a motion to approve items A through H presented.
A through H. Do we have a second?
I'll second that. Adam, it's George.
Okay. Yeah. Discussion?
So
Yeah,
item
I'll be voting against that motion because I don't think we should be approving item E until we see the submittal on the path lights.
I agree with that.
Oh, right.
Okay. Want to revise your motion? And then?
Yeah, sure. I would amend the motion to approve A, B, C, D, F, G, H as presented and deny item E without prejudice.
Yeah. And I'd second that. That's good pickup.
Okay. Discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 1100 Harbor Road for property located at 1100 Harbor Road. The application is for proposed lattice gate at existing driveway and proposed parking sign to replace existing sign. Do we have a motion?
I'll put a motion in place, approve A and B with the stipulation that town planning and zoning and other parties are in agreement that the sign could be reinstalled or that someone can confirm that.
I'm not sure how we enforce that.
Okay.
I mean, zoning is zoning. I mean, right, they're they, they had to go through zoning to get this to come to historic. So that would mean that they don't have any issues with zoning.
Okay, so approve A and B as presented.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that part.
Art, okay. Discussion?
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, Chris opposed.
Okay.
So I just,
you oppose? Okay. And Rosina said she does not oppose. George is good. Hart is,
yeah.
Yeah, she made the motion.
Yeah.
So we have, okay, and where's Jim?
Jim's out. If I'm in.
This is George.
Okay, you're in. Sorry. Is that... No, this is Jim's, actually.
Fine, all right.
What's that?
This is mine, I'll vote in favor.
Can't hear you, Jim.
I'll vote in favor.
I can't understand you.
I'll vote in favor.
You're in favor. Okay. Well, hang on. We have to back up a second here. George, did you second it?
Yeah. I thought I was in and Jim was out on this one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No, because George did the first one. So he's and you were on the ayes for 411 Harbor Road. So number 4 is excuse me, Jim.
Okay, and
Jim,
I vote in favor.
Okay, we have a motion. We need another second, a different second.
This is Rosina's motion, and I seconded it.
Okay, Art seconds. Very good. And then we have all in favor.
Aye.
1, 2, 3.
My hands up.
Where's Jim? And Jim's okay. Jim's up. So that's 4. And who opposes? Chris. Okay. So the motion passes 4-1 as presented. Wish I could see him. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Andrew and Michelle Adams, 564 Harbor Road in Southport, for property located at 564 Harbor Road in Southport for construct 6-foot cedar privacy fence as shown on L7.04 alongside the rear property line. B, construct 2-foot cedar privacy fence along the top of 42 to 48-inch wall at barn along east property line. C, remove existing cedar fence along property line along driveway. And the alternate sequence is George, you're on this one, okay?
Great. Yep.
Okay, great.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted A, B, and C.
Okay. Oh, second.
Rosina seconds. Rosina already seconds. All in favor? Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Second. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Graham and Catherine Nix, 160 Harbor Road in Southport, for property located 160 Harbor Road in Southport for removal of existing bluestone terrace and curb wall. B, new masonry outdoor kitchen at Northeast Terrace, and C, new pergola over outdoor kitchen. Jim, you are voting on this one. George, you are not.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, as presented.
As presented.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, Art will second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Art. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor? All opposed?
Chris.
Okay, one opposed. Motion passes 4-1. Next item is Preet and Vikram Bhutani, 480 Old Post Road in Fairfield for property located at 480 Old Post Road in Fairfield. The application is for A, remove existing white gravel driveway, B, install new asphalt driveway, C, install 16 by 40 foot in-ground pool, D, install pool code fencing around property. Do we have a motion? Did I say who's voting on this? It's just to keep you guys.
It's George.
George's turn, yep. So Jim, you're not voting on this one?
That's correct.
Very good. So do we have a motion?
Adam, how many items?
Sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to make the motion. I didn't know how many items. Go ahead, Rosina.
I'll put the motion to approve as presented A, B, C, and D.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. Discussion?
The only thing I had was just the clarity on that chain link fence. If they're going to come back, or you're going to go and look and see if that is visible from a public way, if they plan to modify that.
Yes, I told them if they wanted to modify that myself and another commissioner would go out there and see if it's visible from a public way.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so all in favor of the motion? George, you're voting?
Yes, I voted yes.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is Haley and Christopher Milligan, 75 Old South Road in Southport for property located at 75 Old South Road in Southport. The application is for A, new two-car garage with office above an existing garage footprint. B, rear one-story addition off-screen porch. C, new basement under mudroom and garage with bedroom and mechanical space. D, new casement window and attic to meet egress for bedroom. And E, new pool and terrace work in rear. We have a motion. Anyone?
For discussion, I'll go ahead and say approve A, B, C, and E as presented and deny D without prejudice.
Okay, do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that, Regina.
Make sure we get the right.
Is that my order, Chris? Am I wrong?
No, you're not. It's Jim.
Okay, sorry, Jim.
You're not.
Sorry.
Okay. No problem.
Swigger.
So we still need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, Chris will second that. Discussion?
Kind of the reason why I think that we should deny D is to explore, like the window has the semicircle on the top, so they, in theory, could explore having a similar window, even if it's a little bit enlarged, to comply with egress. But maybe someone has different opinions.
Yeah, what was it, an arch top window?
Yeah. Which is what it says at the moment.
I'm going to bring up the...
Yeah, the existing elevation drawing 06 shows the half-round top window.
This one?
Yeah.
They're changing it too.
Yeah.
And the proposed is just a regular, a casement with a flat head.
That is weird. I mean, you can do a casement with a round top casement. I'm not sure why they're, I guess they would be bigger, but not much.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll go with that. But nobody has an issue with the gambrel roof or anything like that? No? All right, so should we take a vote on it? All in favor of this application?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Next item is David Montani, 970 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 970 Old Post Road in Fairfield. The application is for replacement of attic windows with new windows, replace existing picket fence, changing picket heights. The alternate sequence is George is voting on this one. Jim, you're not.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll put the motion to approve the presented and deny A without prejudice.
I'll second that.
We have a second? Okay, Chris seconds that. Discussion? I understand it's a vinyl window, which is not great. And it has no fenestration in it, which is even worse. So.
Right.
And if they have the original windows,
it doesn't have the trim. It doesn't have the detail.
To them.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? No. Okay. Let's. All in favor?
As presented.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously. And then the final item is all you, Chris. Do you want me to read it?
Okay. Before we do that, Adam, I'd like to make a motion to deny the application at 1170 Hillside Road without prejudice because they weren't here to present. We're supposed to do that.
Well, I don't think we actually vote on it. It's just that nothing happens to it.
Yeah, we, actually, it's supposed to be denied without prejudice if there was no one here to present. That's from precedent as being a chairperson. The application needs to be denied without prejudice.
Oh.
And they can come and they can resubmit.
Why don't we just get Alex and the last one done?
Okay, and we can vote on it. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And then you have the last application, Chris.
Yeah, so the last application is it is Alex and Dee Calice at 104 Old South Road in Southport for property located at 104 Old South Road in Southport. Item A, back porch columns and railing. Item B, step lights and porch steps. Item C, skylight on east elevation. Item D, 2 lights on shed to match on back porch. And item E, stone base on right front porch to match main front porch. So we need a motion.
This is yours, George, right?
If you wish.
Yours, George.
No,
Okay.
no, you're both voting on this. You're both voting on that.
Oh, yeah, because you're out.
Thank you.
I guess for discussion purposes, I'd make a motion to approve A, B, and E. Then I would have prejudiced C and D.
Okay, we need a second on that.
Chris Art will second that.
Art?
Correct.
Great. Discussion? Any discussion on that?
Yeah, my feeling is on the lights, until whatever the other issues are regarding the little building, I'd like to make sure that it's all linked. So I'd like to not do that. And then as far as the skylights, I'd like to know what was approved in the meeting in June to verify that what they said is accurate, what the sizes are accurate, it reflects what was done. And then we should look at that in the context of having all that information. The other stuff I approve.
Any other discussion?
I'll second that.
Yeah, it was already seconded, right? So
Okay.
my discussion was on that seconded motion that item B, that's even though they're small wattage lights, it seems like an awful lot of step lights. There are 16 step lights, right? 4 risers times 2, and then there's 2 steps. So I don't know. I'm not really in favor of that. So I'll be voting against this motion, but I will go ahead and ask for any other discussion, and if there isn't any, I'll call the question.
Do we need more details on item E in terms of like all the detailing? I know he was explaining it verbally, but does it require any additional details to know exactly what they are proposing? Since there's been so many discrepancies.
He says he's going to match the existing front porch, so I assume we have details if we look at the existing condition.
Okay.
I think Chris, I support your. I think 16 lights across those 4 steps is a lot of light. A lot of eyeballs is what they end up being. And I think Now, I've actually looked at this. I think the 4 lights I have on the wall right now are pretty luminous unto themselves. So I get it that it's shade because it's down, but I don't know how you get to a smaller number than 2 per step. I don't know. I'm struggling with that, Chris.
Okay. Well then, if there's no further discussion, I will call the question, ask for you guys to vote on the motion. Just to remind you, the motion is to approve items A, B, and E, and deny items C and D without prejudice. All those in favor?
Yes.
I hear Jim is in favor. Anybody else?
I think Joe and Art.
I say George. Yep.
And me.
Can you guys say who's in favor? Because I can't see.
Okay, Art
Jim's in
votes
favor.
yes.
Jim and Art are in favor, and who else?
George is in favor.
Okay. Jim, Art, and George. Any opposed?
Rosina.
And Chris are opposed, but the motion carries 3-2. 3 in favor, 2 opposed. That's it. I'll turn it back over to you, Adam.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, we just have to do some house cleaning since it's been 2 months. We have to approve the minutes. I can bring them up if we need minutes. One item there. These are the minutes, and Jim, George, Arthur, myself, and Rosina, and Chris were there. March 12th. It's a long time ago.
Wow.
So has everybody looked through these, or do they need a second? Oh, this is one thing. 89, this in the violation section. I guess this is for Sheila, though. 89 Westway Road, this isn't accurate. He explained the owner put shutters on the Willow Street side, not the Westway side. I think he's referring to the Willow Street house.
Yeah.
Any other corrections, though? Okay, well, can we get a motion to approve these with these corrections? Oh, we have a typo too. Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, Adam, we lost your audio.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 Okay. Sorry. Did we? I just wanted a motion for the minutes. I think we had.
Yep.
Chris motioned it, and somebody seconded. And
yes,
all approved.
We approved it.
All approved. Okay, yes, good. Just I couldn't hear you, so I didn't. All right, repairs. 80 Spruce Street, replace asphalt roof in kind. 661 Old Post Road, replace casement window in kind. 211 Harbor Road, replace stockade fence in kind. And repair picket fence. 970 Old Post Road, repair front porch. 880 to 1038 Old Post Road, replace existing asphalt sidewalk. 187 Harbor Road, replace existing fence in kind. 72 Willow Street, repair porch roof and chimney leaks, 388 Old Post Road chimney repointing, 820 Hillside Road replace existing windows, sashes in kind. I have there one violation. It was on Old South for the fence and the shed was raised, and there may have been some other stuff on there, but I don't have it in front of me. But there was one violation issued. An update on 89 Westway Road. It turns out that the Keatings bought the house without the shutters. There are pictures from the realtor from 2015 when the house was on the market, and they bought it without shutters. So we unfortunately cannot ask them to replace the shutters. You know, if they don't want to replace them, they don't have to because they bought it that way. So I wrote a letter to them explaining that, and it's in the record. It will be put in their record in the historic folder. So for future commissions, if this ever comes up again, we have a record of what's going on. And we have any update on the handbook? I guess it's been a long meeting. We don't really have to talk about that. We can wait for another night. So other than that, I have any other business to take care of? Any new business?
Adam, can I ask, Adam, this is George. On the 104 Old South, on 104 Old South, the shutters that are face nailed to the clapboard, that isn't per the plans, per the drawings. Is there any way of making that a violation and get it corrected?
Yeah, they were already issued a violation for that, and they're supposed to be fixing that. So, I mean, they have so many violations, it's hard to keep up. I mean, they were issued a violation for the trim on the front, you know, the fascia board that we talked about. That is different than what was approved. The shed being raised. I mean, they literally raised the shed without a variance, which they need. They moved the fence. You know, I look back at the records, and that pool fence was moved. They came in and requested to have it moved 3 feet, and they ended up moving it all the way to the barn. So it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that had been done, but just those shutters really bother me.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. I agree.
Okay. Great job, Adam. Great. You know, keeping us in line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know,
were there any other violations?
And this isn't the friendliest application in the world.
No. What'd you say, Rosina?
Were there any other violations? I know there was an email circulated between Chris, you, and myself of other items that were kind of up in the air. Was there anything regarding that?
No,
I think there were a few things in Southport and a few things in Old Post.
Well, one of the guy with the violation came in today. You know, your neighbor. He was the only violation in the Old Post Road, I think.
Okay.
And in Southport, there was the two houses, one on Westwood and one on Willow. I talked to the guy on Willow, and he's gonna. I forget exactly what happened. I have to look in the records, but we had a discussion and things were resolved. And I talked to the Keating one guy on Westway, Jim Keating, and we resolved that issue. So at the moment, we don't have any pressing violations that are outstanding, except for one on South.
So I'll forward you the email again, because I think there's a few things that are still up in the air.
Okay. Please do.
Great
so
job,
we just need a motion to adjourn. Thanks.
So moved.
Seconded.
Bit of a disaster. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Seconded.
And
All in
second.
favor? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all for being so patient.
Thank you.
tonight.
It's gratitude.
Good job. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.